Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little different. I decided to talk about my life a little bit, my background, where I'm coming from, and lessons that I was able to learn during my lifetime, my life journey, and I hope that those lessons could be useful for you in your life and you could implement them if you're interested, of course. My name is Kamal. I've been born to one of the previous USSR countries. It was really weird time. Although I was a kid, I remember that my family, very sophisticated background. Specifically, it was a family of scientists, mostly medical scientists. All my family were really proud because my grandfather, they came from nothing. At the end of their life, they were at the highest pillar of society they could be. Although it was in communism, they were not able to pass on really much wealth to their kids, and that significantly changed my life. But I think that was the best thing. Growing up not rich is the best thing that can happen to you. This is what I'm planning to do with my kids. I would definitely tell them to start to earn as soon as they can, because they have to be financially independent. One of the weird stories that happened in my life, I hate driving. I did Uber when I just came to America. This was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. I had some weird people that I was having as a passenger. Some of them pulled a knife on me. Others threw up in the car. Some were rude, but that was a really good lesson for me. I started to speak to people. But the worst part is, while I was driving, I was feeling as a waste of time, because I knew that I had a potential to make much more money while I was doing Uber. Of course, that's a great opportunity. I appreciate it, because in many other countries you would make 10 times less. You would not have this opportunity. I want you guys to know why I was starting to talk about driving, because I used to like driving. Actually, having a car was one of my dreams all my teenage years. My parents were not that rich. We were kind of lower middle class, I want to say, when I was a teenager already. I didn't realize actually that my dad has a car, but he didn't really like me to drive it. What happened, I always had a goal in mind to become financially independent and buy a car. And the most interesting part is that when I bought the car, after a week or so, I hated driving. Like, what the hell, like all the traffic, especially after doing Uber for the long distances, you start to understand the value of your time and how meaningless driving car can be. But thanks to Elon Musk, now I have a Tesla, so this is one of the best experiences. I can do whatever I want. I can read, I can listen to podcasts, I can just sometimes, chill, and the car will drive itself most of the time. This was happening when I came to America. The car case I mentioned because it's actually a chip on the shoulder to really passionately want something. It's really significant or logical. The most important part is just to be passionate enough sometimes. In the Soviets, it was really hard, tough times. If you would go and search for the pictures, you would see that people were so hungry, divided from the basic ingredients of life like water, electricity, or heat, especially in the colder regions, that it was really toughest time I can remember during all my life. I remember as a kid that people would wait in the lines for the bread, just a simple bread, because there used to be shops in USSR that will sell bread. Other shops, it wasn't like a concept like supermarket, you can go and buy everything. Obviously there were like shops just for bread, shops just for water, shops just for beer, shops just for meat. And people would line up huge lines, like I'm talking thousands, waiting for the breads. And some could just wait there all day and not get a bread. So it was like really crazy times. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a quote by writer Garcia Marquez saying that a person who have hungry child at home can be really dangerous. You obviously imagine what kind of times there were. And I remember as a kid, one of my very vivid memories is that I used to open a fridge and there were weeks that we only had bread inside, maybe some jam, old stuff that my grandma would make. But yeah, that was actually a chip on the shoulder. So I really appreciate sometimes when you go to the depression, sometimes when you have a hardship, you start to think, hey, what the hell, what's going on? But then you remember those times. And personally, I really appreciate whatever I have in my life. Although you can have some kind of hardships, it's most of the time it's nothing comparing to what we were going through. Also, I had a very happy childhood because We had a very lovely family. Everybody loved each other. We had a very big family. My father's side had like 4 kids. My mom's side just were 2 kids, but we were so close. I'm still very close with my family. I appreciate that. I mean, I know lots of people who had childhood traumas from having not good parents, from having not really good relatives. I didn't have any of that. I was a very happy kid. I had very happy aunts, uncles, parents, so grandmas, grandpas, so that's something to be grateful for. I think that formed my character. Sometimes I would accomplish things that many people would say that it actually useless. For instance, when I was starting my first business, my dad actually was like, hey, were you taking a risk? Do you think that you would be able to accomplish it? And something inside of me, I was telling myself, I knew that I would be able to accomplish that. What I'm trying to say is, it's good to be hungry, but at the same time, you have to feel love. You have to pass your love on your kids. So anyways, after childhood, I was sent to Ukraine to study in university. I studied international relations. I love Ukraine. I really do. I consider Ukraine as my second homeland. However, I have to say that everywhere, wherever you would go, if you're not native, except United States, you would feel some kind of racism. They might not tell you, they might not even show it to you, but you will still feel it. During my university years, obviously not being Ukrainian, I had some challenge living in the university dorm. I think everything that happens in our life happens for the reason. And that gave me tougher skin. I remember we had like 25 guys in the group, and I had a fist fight with almost like 20 of them. So that made me much tougher, because I was growing up very happy. I thought it was an impression that, hey, life is easy, blah blah blah. But those kind of reality check bring you down to the earth, and that made me really, who am I today? I can literally go for weeks, for months, not talking to anyone, and this self-sufficiency that I have inside would help me. You can just listen to the podcast, learn from the smarter people than yourself. There's a quote by the Persian poet Omar Khayyam. He says that it's better to be hungry than to eat whatever, and it's better to be alone sometimes than to sit and spend time with whomever. I definitely filter the people who are surrounding me. I advise you guys to do the same. Life is very short, so you don't want to spend it with people that you would not learn anything from, or people that would not make any change in your life. After that, I had chance to go to, I always had this dream to come to the United States inside of me. I don't know, probably just watching American movies when I was a kid, but I ended up getting the internship in the House of Lords, which is the United Kingdom English Parliament. And back then, it was 2004, United Kingdom just opened the borders with Europe, and there was like literally millions of people coming from Eastern Europe. Obviously, this created a backlash in British society. Back then, people were not really happy to see the immigrants, and I had an impression, that all like Western countries, United States, Australia, Canada, all would be like United Kingdom. All would be saying you're not going to be welcome here. And I was lucky to meet a Canadian guy there, actually Canadian Indian, I believe he was. Ali, he told me that Canada is completely different, and back in my mind I had an idea someday to visit United States. I got lucky. I got some kind of educational scholarship, decided to come here, and this was one of the best things I could do, because although all the hardships, economic recession and etc., United States is the only country that you can land here with literally nothing. You can just search the YouTube and see the millions of examples. Become a really wealthy person. Nowhere in the world. Trust me, I've been to China, I've been all across Europe, I've been to India. Nowhere in the world you can see the same opportunities. So my first business was actually education. I was sending students overseas. I was consulting some educational companies, universities, and that helped me to travel a lot. I went to India, on different projects. Some of them were commercial, some of them were scientific. I went to China, I went to Europe, all across Europe. And again, nowhere compares to United States. After coming to the United States, I started to help students to find the houses, those the students that I was already working with. And I found opportunities like Airbnb, corporate housing, insurance housing. Eventually I became a realtor, and this is how I started my journey in real estate. Honestly, I think that real estate is one of 2-3 niches that are not underpaid in the United States. I would say probably the IT and medical industries are also paid significantly. Real estate is definitely one of those. Anyways, hope you guys like my story. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate if you guys could subscribe to the channel, or at least put the like. Don't forget to comment what you think about this story of my life. I'm still not that old, so it will be continued, but so far just decided to share it with you guys because I think it's important for you to know who you are speaking to and who you are viewing to. Anyways, hope to see you soon. Thank you.